Nikken started with MagSteps, and of course they have a lot of different products out there. And I was talking to Janie, of course we met last week and we got to hang out at Humans Being More. And she says she has some really neat stories, and we don't really get a chance to talk to Janie, so I'd like to start with her and give us an idea on something that's happened with you and Nikken.
Hello, how are y'all? I'm actually from Waco, Texas, but I'm part of the Austin group. And I came this week to see my grandchild on purpose so I could be here for tonight's meeting, because I'm always wanting to learn how we can better talk to people and how we can better help people. So, and my son lives in Houston, so I'm trying to get him acclimated into the business. But anyway, that's not what you asked me about. I just retired from public school administration. I'd been in public school for 30 years and had been doing Nikken part-time for about 4.5 years. It'll be 5 years this March, at the end of this month that we've been in the business. And so now we're doing it full-time, and so I'm definitely working on it, doing full-time. So I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of people. And when I was first approached about the business, I really didn't have any serious health issues. And I hate to say I didn't need the money, but like money wasn't my driving force, because I was very active in public education, and also sold diamonds at a jewelry store and was very active with my family. So it wasn't the money or anything like that. But what really got me moving forward in the business was when my dad, who was 90, started having a lot of pain, because at 90 everything is pretty worn out, and he had bone to bone, no cartilage, wasn't sleeping well, had a lot of pain from his arthritis. He couldn't even move his arm up for my mom to change his shirt. He fell a lot. Anyway, we were still thinking, we were using the products because we were pretty healthy. We were using the products for ourselves to maintain quality of health, because we've always been very active as far as being healthy. But anyway, we took my dad to the doctor because my mother was still traditional. And the doctor told us, didn't tell my dad, but told us that to keep him as comfortable as possible, because there was nothing more they could do for him, because he was too old for prescription drugs and too old for surgery. And wow, that kind of really caught me off guard, because at 90, if someone you love is having that much pain and they're not able to help him. Well, we'd heard a lot of testimonies from lots of people about all the near miraculous recoveries that they made. So we decided to really use everything that we had on him, and we did. And he got such amazing results. He no longer was in pain. He slept better. The last 3 years before he passed were just so good for him as far as his health. As he started getting better and people started noticing, they started asking what was going on with him, what kind of medication and what we were doing differently. And so we started talking about what we were doing, and other people started saying to us, well, I wonder if it'll work for my dad, my mom, my uncle, whatever. And we'd say, well, we don't know, we'll be glad to try it. Make a long story short, before we knew, we had a lot of people calling us, and so the business came to us, and before we knew, we ended up in a business, even though that I wasn't intentionally going to do the business. And so now I have hundreds and hundreds of stories from people that were having to ride in electrical wheelchairs and are no longer riding the wheelchairs. People that were ready for wheelchairs who never had to even use the wheelchair and is still in the corner of the house. And so everything from minor to major. And so I just, every day, I'm so thankful that I have this opportunity to do those for mankind, because I went into the field of education because I believe that I am a gift of service to others. And so this is just an extension of what I already believed as a public school administrator and teacher.
Thank you. All right, Heidi, right here, we'll hear your story.
Which one do you want?
I heard you got a good one down.
Well, a lot of you have heard the long version of this. And I made a presentation to the Houston Christian Chamber of Commerce this morning, and Pat said, get it down. So basically, when I was a lad of 13, I had a football accident, and I had a very bad muscle pull, and that's been my Achilles heel ever since. 7 years ago, I pulled that muscle again, and I went through 6 weeks of excruciating pain, doing all the normal things that one would do to try to get rid of it. Fast forward to a year ago, the Saturday after Ike, I was doing what a lot of us were doing, cleaning up, and I pulled it again, and that was 10 in the morning, and exacerbated until 2 that afternoon. But in the interim, since my previous injury, I embraced wellness. My wife and I established a wellness environment in our home. And as a result, the 6 weeks of 7 years ago turned into 6 days.
You're sitting back here at this row here. Bill and Dana both have a combo story here, so we'll just go next to these two girls.
Well, mine's going to be on bones. I was on OsteoDenx for about 20 years, and it never did, thank God, it didn't break a femur or anything like that. I think I had a guardian angel on my shoulder. However, Dana, bless her heart, knew that I had a bone issue, and so she called me one day and she said, I'm going to email you some information, please read it. So I did. I read it several times. She called me, and I decided to get on the bone product. So I knew that I was going for a bone density, but I postponed it for about 3 months. And all the time I was on the bone pack. So when I went to the doctor, I told him, please look at my bone density because I know it's going to be better. And he just kind of gave me that look. Anyway, when he called me on the phone, he said, your back, lower back now is normal. Your spine has increased 6% and your hips 2%. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, continue doing it. Come back in 6 months and let's do it again. And if you have increased, he said, I want to know what you're doing so we can put it on the market. So I said, okay. Also, I had a little, I've always been very athletic all my life. And I got some arthritis in my knees, and y'all who have been seeing me since December, I had a hard time walking, and so I'm on the joints and on the liver, and as the bone pack twice a day, and now I'm walking, and I am on my treadmill, but only 15 minutes at a time. I want to take it a little slow, so I think probably in about 6 months I'm going to be just 100% better. Wow.
Well, I'm very excited about SEAL's progress, and it's been really phenomenal because we work in the same field together in healthcare, and people have noticed all over the change because when SEAL, before SEAL started the bone pack, you could tell by looking at her that she had a lot of pain and a lot of issues, and her head was actually laying on her shoulder most of the time, and I think you can notice that her head is right up straight. And she's a very happy camper. But I would like to tell you a little bit about why I'm in Nikken. I've known Suzanne Truax for many, many years, and I've known her professionally. We both are out in the field and in the healthcare field, but I never really looked seriously at what she was doing. And I had something happened to me many years ago. My older son was in the military, and he was injured in Afghanistan. And he was in rehab in Germany for 2.5 years. And because of the nature of his injury, he wasn't able to do very much in the way of aerobic exercise for 2.5 years. He used to not have an ounce of fat on his body. He used to run 10, 12 miles a day and swim, and he was very athletic. But because of the injury, he could no longer do this, and he gained a lot of weight. He developed a thyroid issue, and he developed sleep apnea. When he medically discharged in March, came home to live with us temporarily until he could get his life back together. And I have to tell you, the first few months, he was a mess. And I was out there looking for something that could help him with his pain so he could exercise more. Something that would help him with his sleep so that he could function better. And I have to tell you that when I saw Pat and Suzanne at a health fair right around this time, and luckily for me, I was in a lot of pain that day. I was wearing high heels and I had neuropathy in the bottom of my toes. And Pat said, well, sit down in the chair and put your feet on this thing. And it was this contraption that looked like a scale with these whirring balls in it. Never seen anything like that in my life, and I thought he was out of his mind. But I sat down in the chair, put my feet on that thing, and within about 3 minutes, I had no pain.